Hello. It is Lynx here, and I am finally here with Chapter 4 of A Mix of Discoveries. We do have some new tags. So, one of them is Izuku would not ask for help. That's a little worrying, but now we also throughout the chapters. This isn't just chapter 4, this is like the whole story. Tsukauchi's coming in, Ida's coming in, Uraka's coming in, Momo's coming in, and Tsuyu's coming in. So I am excited. Now there are 7 chapters. It says out of 7, but it might be done, might not be. I will have to check with the author.
Editor Links here. I did, in fact, check with the author. The story is now finished with a total of 7 chapters. So, only a few more. Hope you guys enjoy.
So here we go with Chapter 4, An Accurate Appearance. Saturday. Izumi knew that the name he currently had didn't match a male, so for now, he would start finding one that did. At 1:47 a.m. He promises that he'll go to sleep early one day, but for now, he had at least 3 analysis projects due by the end of the week, a new fan fiction chapter that had been done for days and needed posting, and a motivation to research something that was personal, so not today. Search bar. Male version of the name Izumi. Results. 1. There is no specific variant. This is because Izumi is considered a name that is primarily unisex or gender neutral. However, this name is more often used for females based on statistics and can be assumed as... Number 2. The name Izumi means spring or fountain, which can refer to purity. Here are some names meaning that. Search bar. Names that are used as a male version of Izumi. Results. Number 1. Here are some male names that are similar or associated with Izumi. Hei, Ichiro, Daisuke, Masaru. 2. Namepicker.com. 3. Random name generator. Behind the name. After the 4th search, Izumi realized that trying to find the male version of his name wouldn't be possible. Or at least easy, so it was time for another method. He had no idea what type of name he wanted, so going through some of his aliases to get ideas seemed like a good idea. Yamikumo. Wouldn't work because that's too edgy in general, and it's my alias for an identity that I don't discover. Same with Deku, but in general it would make me seem weird or just worthless. What can I do? About an hour later, 2:56 a.m., the laptop laid on the desk, lying on the smooth patterned material that was a light brown hue, like the tones spotted in cafes. The desk itself was built into the wall, and on either side were storage units, each having 4 levels and were filled with Eraserhead merch, whether that was figures or journals dedicated to him. The platform was held up by 4 stable legs, the back 2 connected to the wall, and on top of the desk at the back. The same material that it was built out of reached up to the storage units and was connected to the wall, which was a gray-tinted white color. In front of the desk, there was an adjustable computer chair that was black-toned and could spin 360 degrees, quite useful for nights like these. Nights where the problem child stayed up for research, even more useful for when he fell asleep midway through. Maybe that? No, that wouldn't work because it still sounds too feminine. I also need to make sure it matches with my last name because it'll be weird if it doesn't. Wait, the name Izuku could work. His mumbling was cut off by a cheery tone indicating a notification. User, Dobby. Deku, are you available for a meetup today? User, Deku. Yeah, why? I don't have any finished analysis pieces for you yet. User, Dobby. Need to discuss a topic. Can't do it online, though. The info on the topic is on documents and such. User, Deku. Alright then, are you available today? Preferably like 9 a.m. at the 21/3 alley? User, Dobby. Yeah, I am. The time and location work. I'll see you then. User, Deku. Okay. Izumi. No, Izuku was going to see Dobby for around the 3rd time this week. Overall, this week was the first time meeting him at all IRL, but he has texted him online discussing a plethora of topics ranging from analysis and prices to video games and Spotify playlists. So overall, he was a bit nervous, but not as much as the start of this week, since Dobby now knew both users were the same person and that he was a kid. Izuku had his appearance on, and throughout the few accidental incidents on the train, he was assumed to be a boy, which every time someone used his pronouns correctly, he felt a twinge of joy. But he had to remember these were strangers, and he had his hood up, and his hair was still a massive issue as it reaches down to his shoulders. Maybe he can convince his mom to cut it himself later. Speaking about his mom, he still needs to tell everyone. Izuku had no idea what he was doing. He was meeting up with a villain, not just any villain. A villain he had contacted online multiple times and nicknamed Usagai. Plus is also an adult. So yeah, he had no idea what he was doing if he was going to be totally honest. Hi, Usagai. Hey, kid. So what do you need to tell me? I have a question. You're trans, right? Yes? Female to male or male to female? First option. And so it began. Unlike Izuku was expecting for his meetup, which was information and a new analysis task, instead he got his first supporter and a bunch of new tips how to present more masks. Well, time to test them. Dobby had given him 4 main ones, these being, number 1, deodorant, specifically a male type and stick-on, since those will work best. 2, neutral and or darker tone of clothing, or just clothes that tend to be worn by men, like flannel jackets or pants. 3, gender neutral or gender affirming accessories, like watches or silver type wear, which tended to be considered more for males. Number 4, haircuts. A shorter haircut, somewhere above the shoulders. It doesn't have to be short so long as it's sharp, but having it shorter would still be the better option. Izuku, despite the money he had on the other day, was broke, which meant he could either do a bunch of jobs, which there really weren't that much currently, or ask his mom, which also meant revealing he was trans. I mean, he had to come out to her sometime, so he supposes now is as good as ever, considering she finally has a bit of time off. Hey, Mom? Yes, Izumi, sweetie? I need to tell you something. Sure, what is it? I'm trans. I'm a boy. Inka was at least shocked due to her hours of work and how basically anytime she didn't have work she was resting. She hadn't noticed a change. The sudden change that had occurred within the last week. So what was she supposed to do? She could say it's just a phase, but what if it isn't? She couldn't do that to her child, so she did the reasonable thing in her opinion. What do you need then? Do you support me? Asked Izuku, wringing his fingers together in a nervous way. Of course. Have you already chosen a name or gotten any specific nicknames? Izuku, I want that as my name, and I haven't really thought of nicknames yet. And so it was settled. His mom knew, and they were going to go shopping in an hour. Izuku was glad, so unbelievably glad. He had no idea how his mom would react to this initially, and he honestly thought she would just be disappointed or think it was a phase. But no, instead, she fully supported him and was going to help him as much as possible. By the end of the day, Izuku had a new wardrobe, a haircut that was up to his neck, new deodorant, and a watch that was black and green. Overall, the best day that he could have asked for. Alrighty, that was chapter 4. And I really enjoyed it. Once again, that was my first read-through of the chapter. Thank you again so much, Zom Kitty. I'm enjoying this a lot, as you can tell. And this is coming out really good. I think I'm just going to read all of the chapters that are left and kind of just post them. Because I'm feeling wonderful. It's only 11:09. No, what? No. It's only 11:03 p.m. right now, so I'm feeling wonderful and perfectly energized. Goodbye! No, don't leave. Sorry. Make sure to eat, sleep, drink your water, and when you sleep, go to bed at a reasonable time. Take your meds. So, yeah, that's all. That was out of order, but yeah, it was all. So, bye!